good.
All these families camping here. They're a group of Seventh-day Adventists from Ghana. I was struck by the language, so I asked them. Which language they spoke, and it was from Ghana. It sounded different. I want to just cover a couple of practical things first. Well, first of all, Shana Tova, Happy New Year to all the people, Jewish people who around the world. This is according to the traditional biblical way of reckoning. This is the beginning of the year. And so we wish a Happy New Year with all the blessings of a new year to everybody. And quite a few Jewish people are regular followers of the live streams, and we're happy about that. And then a technical note. Last week, I think because of a hurried schedule, the posts I do, two of them were not posted, one on YouTube, and I apologize to all my own regular YouTube followers here on the YouTube channel, where I post the videos every morning after the Facebook. And then more recently we have been posting them on the, well, for quite a while now more recently on the English Magdala YouTube channel. And theirs was posted, but the post didn't work on my channel. So it's very easy for you to find the Magdala YouTube channel. And there are also other things there besides what I post here. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to miss something, you can go and get it, find it. And also there's a YouTube link to it here, and that's obviously from the Magdala YouTube channel because that's where it's posted, and then I missed it on my own. And then the Facebook version, I'm doing it right now live here on my Facebook page, or Facebook page. And there's a Facebook profile, that's more or less where everybody has their things. And then if you're publishing a lot, then you have a Facebook page, and it's not the profile section. And that's where I post all the videos every morning. And then I put it onto the Magdala Facebook page. But also, I think it was the 8th of September, I didn't post it there, but you have the link here on YouTube, so you can check it out there. And we have a lovely morning this morning. Delightful morning. Very clear. All the mountains everywhere are very clear. Mount Hermon, now we can see more of it from this point than we could from our own little spot there in Magdala. And you can see it protruding over behind the Mount of Beatitudes. This is the Mount of Beatitudes hills here, just north of the lake. And then way beyond that, you can see a much larger extent of Mount Hermon. There. Normally you only see that first part to the left from Magdala, and now we can see much more from this angle. The more we become familiar with God's Word from many different perspectives, one could read it just as literature, if one doesn't share Christian faith. And one could read it as seeking it as history, or clues about bygone epochs and peoples. And one can see it religiously, and also that under different angles. One can see it as the book of life, a book of inspiration for our lives. One can see it as a revelation of God. One can find great insights into humanity, human behavior, and the great stories, the great paradigms that are offered. And one thought, it kind of came to my mind this morning as I played sometimes the audio, and listening to it, and was to just throw out the question for a suggestion for you to go back after we're finished and see what phrase today inspired you the most. What phrase had a resonance and echo in your heart that you felt was speaking to you, something that talked into your life, something that shed a little light on where you're at in life. That happens also when we just talk to other people. You meet somebody and you share something that's going on, and because they have another angle on things, they're not as invested as you are in that particular experience, and they might see another angle, might open our eyes to see an aspect we weren't thinking of, or that we should take into consideration, that could bring balance into the feelings we have about things. In a certain sense, every book we read is like that, because every book we read is like, well, it's not talking to somebody, it's listening to somebody, as they're telling us their appreciation, their angle, their experience, their viewpoint, and we're listening to them. And all of these encounters are enriching. And obviously we have our perspective, and we can have a critical take. Critical means that we're weighing it up, we're pondering it, we're sizing it up, we're understanding it, trying to understand it. Some texts take a second reading, Some authors are clearer, other authors are a little more abstract, a little more philosophical, or more of a storyteller, or more of a drama context. So to engage with the text, because we're not living alone on the planet, thanks be to God. It's not good for us to be alone. To read a good book is a great blessing for oneself. It's a great gift you give yourself to read a book. I just finished the book that I was reading in just little portions, going to the seaside on Sundays before going for a swim, and now I have finished the book except for a few of the characters. It's an interesting feature in this book is that Robert Lloyd George, describing David Lloyd George and Winston Churchill's friendship, there are a lot of characters in the political scenario there, and he gives a very interesting thumbnail sketch of each of the players in those major historical events of the First World War, and before that, prior to the First World War, and through into the 20s, and just on the threshold of the Second World War. So it's interesting, because I really have personally gained a lot from that book, and I hadn't really read much of the history of that period before, and it has brought back a lot, and brought me a lot of understanding also of the period, and also of the problems of our world, the politics, how the political system works. Sometimes we denigrate the political system very easily, but I'd like to see you going out and trying to be Prime Minister, and there's a war going on. I'd like to see you going out and be responsible for a group of people in a battle. And okay, you didn't decide to do the battle, but now you're sent in there to bring order, to bring leadership, and you want to save as many lives as possible. You want to defend the interests of your country. It's a very difficult scenario. Many human beings are tested in these scenarios. So many wars going on today. our struggle to find a way to live in peace together. So I encourage you to go to the readings like that, and they're very, very powerful. I was touched by quite a few things this morning in the readings and the psalm. Boker Tov. Hakol beseder, Shana Tova. Shana Tova. זה מקום טוב פה, מקום יפה. Actually, I think he's Arabic, but we spoke in Hebrew. He's an Arab Israeli, if I remember correctly. As we've met before. I'm terrible for remembering names, too many people. Oops, now I wanted to pull out the readings, and I'd have to go back and restart the whole thing. Because the Wi-Fi is disconnected. I don't have Wi-Fi out here in the wild, and I'd have to set up a link to get the side telephone here engaged. But one of the things were some comments that Paul is making to Timothy about God, the adjectives he used to describe God. I was very touched by that. And then we're at the end of chapter 6 in Luke's Gospel. And there, it's the end of the Sermon on the Mount. In Matthew's Gospel, we have 3 chapters, Matthew 5, 6, and 7. So each Gospel is giving a different take on the Beatitudes, a different memory and narrative of the Beatitudes, with wonderfully mutually enriching perspectives for us. You know, you hear a report about such a football game, and then you hear another report from a different person about the same game. And now you're understanding more about the game, you know. With the emphasis on building on rock. There was a huge rock up there, and in fact, historically, let's go back and see it. Maybe, no, I'm not sure if we get back there. Because we're almost up in our time. And apparently there was some structure built on it, I read in a book. It was there a long time ago, and there's still evidence that there was a structure on it. And when you build on rock, you know, you build solidly. And as much as that is rock and is solid, it's also very brittle. It's limestone. And over time, all those caves have been formed. But when you build on rock, then there's a solid perspective of future, that things will be stable. Another 50 or 60 yards, we'll see this rock, I think. Oh, I see somebody out here in a paddleboard as well. We should catch them in a minute. Can you see the paddle border there? Right in the center of the screen now. Oh, there's our rock that I'm looking for. And apparently there's somebody chose to have some kind of a little structure there. Not sure how long they would have lived there or used it. Seems to be a lady, I think. Might be wrong. Get them lined up here with the sun. And to build on rock, not just to listen to the words and have an impression from them, but to actually to build our lives on these words, the key words that really give paradigms to our lives. Key words from the gospel. That's all of us who are Christian. We try to conform our lives to Christ's thinking and doing, and to build our lives on rock. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Isn't it amazing how quickly time goes and we have an experience and it's over? A fleeting moment through that light. So I hope you build your house on rock, on solid rock that won't be bashed by the waves, or if it's bashed by the waves, it will still stay standing. People, God bless you. See you later, alligators. There we have Mount Arbel up there in the background. God bless you. Thank you for joining.